Alrighty, all you Red Dog fans, this is another edition of the Dog Pound. I am voice of the Red Dogs and starting left fielder Rick Franceschino. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm still a little bit scared after what happened last week. We'll talk about some more of that on the episode to come. But a lot has happened in the last week that we got to catch you guys up on. As you know, if you watched the Dog Pound last week, me and my co-host Roy Franceschino were attacked by a few members of the Red Dogs. They've, I guess, made their own faction as part of the NWO. That would be third baseman Matt Weimer, starting right fielder James Pickham, and catcher AJ. They came on the episode unannounced, and they clocked Roy in the back with that Dog Pound sign back there, and Matt Weimer hit me over the head with the microphone. So brutally attacked, and they ended up taking over the Dog Pound last week. If you haven't seen that episode, go on the Dog Pound right now on the Red Dogs Network and watch that episode. So a lot has happened. I was able to catch up with John Tamino at Helen Park, the home of the Red Dogs spring training facilities. We'll get you that interview in a couple minutes, but right now I kind of just want to talk about the motives behind this attack. So as I said, it was Weimer, Pickham, and AJ, and it appears the main motive for their attack or their takeover of the Dog Pound was they want some contract extensions. As you know, over the winter meetings, myself, Roy, Zimmer, Spy, and Tamino all got a big lengthy contract extension, and I guess Matt Weimer, Pickham, and AJ were upset that they did not get an equal valued contract extension, and that's why... Sorry. I thought I heard something. I guess they were a little upset that they did not get the contract extension as well, so they felt that they needed to send a message to the Red Dogs management, and that was to take over the Dog Pound. So they had a few choice words in what they said over the players who received their contract extension. So, like I said, I have an interview. I was able to catch up with John Tamino at Helen Park. Like I said, home of the Red Dogs spring training facility. We're going to give you that interview right now and just hear what John Tamino had to say regarding the takeover of the NWO last week.
John Tamino, how'd you feel about what
Rick,
the NWO had to say?
Your interview. Get out of here. I'm working.
John Tamino, how does it feel being the first one to sign the contract and what the NWO had to say about you?
You want to know how I feel? I'll tell you how I feel. Rick, I'm pissed off. Now, I got to admit, I almost found what the NWO had to say kind of amusing. All right, they wanted to make an impact, and they turned a few heads. But if you think for 1 second they impressed me, you are wrong. You want to talk about the big sexy man, the big man, whatever he wants to call himself? I find it peculiar that he was only able to get pissed off after I signed my deal. Now, as far as I know, under the terms and conditions of his extension, he's a Red Dog for another year. Now, if he's got a problem with me or my contract, he can maybe muster up more than the 4 little sentences he said in his debut and say it to my face. You want to talk about Pickham, the little man, the pitcher, whatever? I watched his promo, and as far as I'm concerned, it was nothing more than a 4-minute bitch fest about how he should be the opening day pitcher. I got the lowest ERA. I got the most strikeouts. The fact of the matter is, son, it took you almost 10 seasons to do what Mangerson said and won. I like winning, and I like winning fast, so from now on, Mangerson is my guy. Finally, you want to talk about Weimer, the bad guy, Wime Time, whatever. I got 3 little words that he needs to hear. 1, if he ever shows himself in front of my face, he better take that base straight out his mouth. 2, he better run along and get himself a $10 haircut because he looks like a bum. And 3, the stats don't lie, and the truth is I've been carrying his ass for the last 10 seasons. Now I know I always haven't gotten the job done, but I picked more balls out of the dirt for that kid than any other Red Dog infielder combined. I gotta admit, I almost found his stupid little catchphrase amusing. You're not here to partake, you're here to take over. Well, if you want to take over, you're gonna have to go through me, son. And the only way you're gonna do that is by signing on that dotted line and meeting me out on the field. Now, Rick, I ain't got any more time for you stupid little questions. Now get out of here.
So there you go, a very heated interview with first baseman John Tomino following the takeover last week of the NWO on the Dog Pound. So some few choice words John Tomino had for the three members of the NWO, specifically Matt Weimer, mentioning that he's been carrying him for the past 10 seasons. So a lot of heated words and emotions were shared by John Tomino in that interview. I feel like maybe he's been having these feelings for a couple years now, and then finally they erupted into that interview. So very candid and very honest and true John Tomino in that interview. But moving on to our next topic, if you haven't noticed this week, I am doing the Dog Pound by myself. My usual co-host Roy Franceschino was taken to the hospital following the attacks last week, and the good news is he's doing well, and the hospital said he should be released this week, in the next couple days. So, Roy, we hope you and wish a happy and healthy and speedy recovery, and you can hopefully join me on next week's episode of the Dog Pound, hopefully. And if not next week, hopefully the week after that. So, we'll put it on the network when he is released. Like I said, it should be in the next couple days, and we can we'll let you know when that happens. But also following the attacks, CEO and president of the Red Dogs organization, Mr. Pickham, released a statement. Now, Mr. Pickham is not one to say a whole lot and be in the limelight. He's more of a owner that likes to stay behind the media cameras. So it was very interesting that he came out and he said his statement. And if you haven't read it yet, I will now read the statement for you guys, which is on the Red Dogs Network. So if you want, you can check it out. But in quotes, the Red Dogs Corporation has decided to hire the law firm of Dewey, Chetnam, and Howe to look into all contacts we have signed this year. We have also decided to suspend James, a.k.a. Muscleman Pickham, until we get back the police report on the attack on Roy. And the NWO New Women's Organization has been banned from Red Dogs activities pending further investigations, end quote. So Mr. Pickham coming out and saying that he is not a fan of the new women's organization, as he said, the NWO, and saying that they are banned from all Red Dogs activities upcoming. So I don't know if that's including the Dog Pound. I don't know if that's including spring training. That was not clarified in the statement, but I'm sure we will get more information in the upcoming weeks. What Mr. Pickham meant when banned from all Red Dogs activities. We'll have to look into that. But Red Dog Nation, I want to get a little bit personal with you, since a lot has happened this week. I feel that the attacks last week on the Dog Pound were unnecessary and unprofessional. However, I do see why they did it. I see why they attacked me and Roy on the Dog Pound. Unfortunately, when it gets down to brass tacks, they just want a contract extension. That's all they want. And I can't blame them for that. Being a person and player who received the contract extension at the winter meetings, I was very happy. I was ecstatic. I'm really happy to be a Red Dog for another couple years. To be honest, I want to finish my career as a Red Dog. And if you're a player like Weimer and Pickham and even AJ, who've been on the team for many, many years, Pickham and Weimer since the start, I feel that they want to also be Red Dogs for life. And when you see half of the team or part of the team receive a contract extension and you don't, you feel left out. And you're hurt and you're upset. So Were their actions justified? Possibly. It wasn't the right way of doing it, but they were just releasing their anger in the only way they know how, and that was to take over the dog pound and send a message to the higher ups in the organization, the management. But being of the voice of the Red Dogs, I feel it's my obligation to stay neutral. My job here, aside from playing left field, being the voice, is to report everything and anything that happens regarding the Red Dogs team and the organization as a whole. And, my side is to give both sides of the story. Now, last week, obviously, it seemed like the NWO were the bad guys, when really, they just might be misunderstood. So hopefully our team can come together before the Summer League starts. We have a couple months to do it. I'm really hoping that we can turn this around and get over this lump, because in all my years of being on the Red Dogs team, I've never felt the clubhouse more separated than it is now. I'm pretty sure if John Tomino and Matt Weimer were to cross paths, they would probably get in a fist fight. And that is not the definition of a team. That is not what we want. So hopefully both sides can come together before the year starts, the season starts, and hopefully we can maybe get over this. So unfortunately, a lot of bad things have happened surrounding the Red Dogs the past couple weeks. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that this team can overcome those obstacles and possibly win a third championship. However, at the moment, that's the last thing on our mind. Right now, we just want to get the team forward. Simple as that. So, this is Rick Franciscino, voice of the Red Dogs, reporting live on the episode of the Dog Pound. Hopefully, we'll have some more further updates regarding what's going on in the next week or two. But, as always, keep on barking.